Hey guys, how you doing? It's your boy MGS here. I really hope this video uploads properly because I think I had problems with my last one. Anywho, this is a video I've been planning to do for at least a week or two. I've been waiting to do this, and I was thinking that if you wait for things to be perfect, unfortunately, you'll probably never get things done. So I know I want it to be in a certain way, but I'm just going to try and have a bit of fun with it, and I'll try and be as fun as possible. I was going to make a joke, but I can't remember what it was now. But anyway, so I want to talk about my dreams for Italian football, the national team version. Couldn't fit the whole title in the video, but anyway, I did some before about the club teams, and I could probably even add some more to, like, maybe I should focus more on the charity work I want to do. But I think it's important to have fun as well, enjoy yourself, and like football has been one of my passions for so long. But anyway, I dream to go to Italy and share my ideas, but some of my ideas will be quite secretive. I only want to share with the Italian FA or groups like that, or Italian football schools. But this is more about my dreams for Italian football, specific dreams I've got. Anyway, don't want to waffle too much, but yeah, I dream that that dyslexic people will go to Italy and share ideas as well somehow, to encourage my fellow dyslexics to do that, which will be a hard challenge, especially dyslexics who come from other areas, or if I can get dyslexics who are not into football to get into football. I also dream to make like videos about football, which I've talked about before, which can get people who are not even interested in football into football. As I say, I hope this loads properly, and I hope it goes well, obviously, as I would, and just hope to have fun with it. Finally, seem to have a bit of good weather finally, so it's still cold, but it's like nice blue skies, which I like. Anywho, sorry, I'm trying not to waffle because I've just gone over 2 minutes. But yeah, so I think that covers my interest. So yeah, I'd love to go to Italy and possibly go with fellow dyslexic people, Anglo-Indians as well. Especially wish for Anglo-Indians to be united for Italian football, but I'm going to come to that later. So I thought I'd include that in the intro. Maybe I should have saved it a bit later. But anyway, so onto the list. Point one, I dreamed that Italy will. I was thinking, I wonder whether I should leave this till last, but I do these things I've talked about before, like with patterns. So point number one. Might even say this again, repeat this at the end, but because I think it's the main thing. But I dream for Italy to be the #1 footballing country or nation, whichever term you prefer, a #1 place of football, basically, where people are encouraged to play football. And I dream for Italy to become #1, both the club teams and especially the national team, to win things at the international level, for developing young players, practicing, training, and all that stuff, which I hope to come to. Another point I was going to raise. Keep forgetting my point, sorry. It was about my dilemma about being an Italian football fan, because I'm actually an anti-imperialist in many ways, but I talked about my story about when I was in high school before, so in some of my other videos, so sorry if I repeat myself, but yeah, so I've been an Italian football fan for a long time, because I think I look Italian and things like that, so I supported them since like 95, 96, something like that. Even though the European Cup in 96 was in England, and I think it was the first tournament where I understood the format and how it works. And I'm from England, so it was like, I was a big Italian fan. Unfortunately, we didn't do very well, so I got a fair bit of stick for that. But yeah, I've been an Italian football fan for so long. But I am also an anti-imperialist, but I thought I'd stick with Italian football, and I also thought, like, to make it interesting, as I would say. I don't know if you would agree that this is interesting, but I think I joke about being mixed race and say I'm mixed up, so I support different countries for different things. Although I support Asian, African nations, so I talked about before, the four, as I talked about, I also support Italian football. I support Africa for technology and Italy for football, just to make things a bit quirky as well. But yeah, I've had ideas for Italian football for so long as well, and I try to, sometimes I get it right as well, but I try and put it onto paper if I can. I certainly think about them quite a lot, but I've thought of so many ideas for them, and I think that's a dyslexic creativity thing as well. But I definitely love Anglo-Indians to be united for Italian football, because I think we look Italian, and also, I mean, you could say a lot of other countries like Turkey or countries like that, but I think Anglo-Indians might also look Turkish or whatever. But I think because Italy's won 4 World Cups as well, I know a lot of that is back in history, but it's also has a chance to become possibly the top, or it is already one of the top historical teams, and it has a chance to be one of the top. Also, or the top teams. And also, any money I make from videos that I do about Italian football, I plan to donate that to people in Italy, like to buy footballs, especially for all possible people in Italy, especially younger people, because I think the youth are the future, training and all that, which probably has lessons for the rest of the economy, for economies as well. Like if you invest in the youth, they're going to be the ones that are going to do the jobs in the future. So a lot of people think wait till they get older, but football shows you, I think, that if you develop when they're younger, they'll be better. Generally speaking, it doesn't always work like that because some players peak too soon. But anyway, I'm probably waffling. But yeah, point number one, I dream for Italy to become the most successful. I also wish to share my ideas, and my ideas to be at least a part of that, and also fellow dyslexics, and perhaps to listen, and again to listen to other people's ideas. Point number two, I dream for Italian football to learn as much as it can from the rest of the world, including like quotes about football philosophy as well, and different styles of play and that kind of thing, weaknesses of other teams as well. Again, I'm probably going to be a bit secretive about some of my ideas, but because I don't want other teams to know about them, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so I dream for Italy to learn as much as it can from the rest of the world, but also dyslexic people show what we can do with creativity. I might repeat some of these points, so please forgive me if I'm repeating myself. So I hope it's still quite a fun video. But I know I sometimes forget my chain of thought and stuff like that and waffle a bit, but I'll try and make it as fun as possible. So please let me know if you think these videos are fun or not. Anyway, three, I dream for Italy failed to qualify for the World Cup, and Italian football's been going through a lot of problems at the moment. So not quite as strong as it used to be in like the 90s or before that. It's been going downhill, but I suppose each team, each country, and each league probably has times when it goes up and when it goes down as well. So I dream for Italians to practice as much as possible. But I'd say like it'd be a great story if Italy was like a phoenix rising from the ashes, where despite failing to qualify last time and also struggling at club team level and things like that, Italy will practice enough and develop enough to win 3 World Cups in a row. That's one of my major dreams, which I know is a bit mad, but as many of my dreams are. But like to win the World Cup in Qatar in 2022, I can't remember where it is in 2026, but I dream for Italy to win that one, and 2030 as well, so like 3 in a row. So that would take us, I think, to 7. So we'd be the most successful team. Well, even if we're winning 2022 and 2026, we'd be the most successful, but would win 2 more than the next best. So like, yeah, I dream for Italy to win like 3 World Cups in a row. Also, like the clubs, the Italian clubs, and also Italian football generally, to get tax cut, to get have to pay as little tax as possible, as well as getting as much funding as possible. So like, football will be prioritised, and or like the clubs to be told, Serie A clubs and all different, every single senior game. Though I don't like too many rules, but in this case, like I think every senior game would have to have at least 3 under-21 players in every single one of them. Even like encouraging park football to always have at least 3 under-21 players, which will help to hopefully develop youth and help them to practice against older players and have the youngest possible teams as well. And I'd love Italians to be encouraged to want to play football and just enjoy it as well, and play out, just really enjoy football. And but yeah, to make it pay as little tax as possible, and also like, so Italian football maybe even to be a tax haven, and where clubs can invest in football pitches and footballs and all that, and pour their tax into that, but then also get PR or something back from it. But anyway, I hope to come to that a bit later, but I think that covers point 3. Anyway, point 4, as I said before, in point 1, I dream for Italian teams to be the most, both at national and club level, to become most successful, to raise as much funds for them as possible, and for them to win the most, and also like do so through the rules of the game, like to cut back on max fixing or anything like that. Again, I hope to come to some of these points, but yeah, to be victorious via superior practice, by practicing more than anyone else rather than cheating or anything like that. 5, I dream for Italians to prioritise football. Prioritise, that is, not prioritise. Prioritise football, and dream to invest in it as much as possible, and to bring some of the pride back to Italian football, and like for Italian school children to want Italy to win the World Cup together, and share that dream, and also to help each other practice and work together towards that. So Italians to be united over that, and to want Italy to, I think, like, imagine if Italians wanted Italy to win the World Cup more than they wanted to make money or anything like that. Sorry, I'm going to try and crack on because I'm just over 10 minutes. 6, I dream for Italians to practice as much as possible and just to improve and to become the best they can be in football, and that sort of thing. 7, I pray that God will bless Italian football, and Celtic and Italian clubs will practice with each other as much as possible, especially at youth level, as I said before. So developing youth is one of the most important things as well. 8, dream for Italians to fall in love with football again, especially their own teams, their own clubs, their own and Italian football generally itself, and just to love football generally, but especially Italian clubs. Maybe even name their children after football players and things like they do in Brazil, and things like that. Not just their own footballers, but even footballers around the world. And I know there's lots of prejudice and hatred in Italian football as well, nationalism, things like that, fascism, and also there's extreme right and extreme left. But I dream for Italians to be more like centre left or centre right, but not have socialism or communism or far right or white supremacy or far right. I class Italians actually as olives again, but anyway, I dream for them to just be more centre ground, be more united over football. I think there's an irony in fascism or nationalism where it's supposed to be people coming to you're supposed to put the country first, but in a way it divides the country. I don't know if I'm making much sense, but so politically I dream that Italians will get on well better with other people from different cultures and countries. I think I was going to mention point 4, getting on better with what I call the 4, which are the indigenous people from Africa, Australasia, the Americas and Asia and places like that, but also just the rest of the world generally, and also Eurasian and general transcontinental Middle East and Mediterranean countries to practice together football. And because Italy is, out of all those backgrounds, I suppose is the most successful, they could perhaps get behind the team, improve relations with Turkey and Spain, even maybe France and countries like that, through football, especially France, because it's another Mediterranean country with a tricolour. And another idea I had was Italian and French teams, again both nationally and at club team level, to play football together and fundraise to tackle some of the floods they had, to raise funds to tackle some of those problems through football and help the youth help each other's youth to practice. So I hope that, as I say, I hope that makes sense. 9, again, hope Italians will practice a plan and look at 5 to 10 year plans and things like that, and look at how people could talk about their 5 to 10 year plans about how they're going to improve Italian football, and also even politicians talk about how much they'll invest in parks, playing facilities, training facilities, and football pitches to make Italy back to how great the football team used to be, or even better, to be as good as it can be, and all that sort of stuff. Again, hope that makes sense. But again, Italians to prioritise football over making money or stuff like that. To practice more and say, we'd be proud even if we don't make as much money. Imagine if Italians said, even if we don't make as much money, we want our football team to be number 1. 10, again, hope to support the youth, again, as much training facilities as possible for the youth, as much practice, and developing young players as much as possible. I can't remember, there's another point I was going to make, but yeah, to practice as many hours as possible, and in the curriculum to be taught about football and practice and train as much hours as possible. Again, I've got loads of ideas that I put on paper. I'd love to make my own curriculum for football in Italy and stuff like that, and go to Italy and discuss my ideas. But I think I waffled enough, so hopefully someone out there like this video. Please let me know what you think. Sorry if I waffled a bit, and sorry if my points were a bit sort of quirky, and that's another thing. If I go to Italy, I hope someone out there will I hope I can explain my ideas and then look at how to implement them, and be proud if those ideas really work. Then I could be known as one of the main people who transformed Italian football. But my friend who's Spanish was saying that he thinks Italian football is quite lucky because in the past I thought he said an Argentinian guy, but I think it was a Hungarian guy who made a lot of the philosophy that helped Italian football. But I think it'd be interesting if it's an Anglo-Indian guy who helped to transform Italian football. Hopefully my ideas will be really good and better than I thought, and I could do myself proud. And have a good day. Peace and love. P.S. Please look out for part 2 and share this video. Thanks.